This is Blacknificence coming back at you for the third time on video. Just making a response video to Brother Harvey. You know, I respect the brother, everything he has to say. He's putting out some positive information. You know, some real hard truths people can't really digest, but hey, nonetheless, he's putting them out there. Now, to speak on the incident that happened with the white guy getting beat up by these black guys, is, like you said, two wrongs don't make a right. And they really just did put themselves in harm's way for no reason other than being ignorant, if that was the whole case, because we really don't know what happened beforehand. But by going at, you know, just what you see by the black guys themselves recording it, it does look like a nigga moment projected on a white person, which you rarely see. It happens, but not too often like this. If anything, black people are quick to kill themselves and harm each other than to really go out and kill a white person or a Spanish person or an Asian person, you know. But also, yeah, well, I can somewhat agree of and see how you're saying this might create another Trayvon Martin, but just think about it. These people have been killing us for their own made-up reasons for how many years? Now, this may have added, you know, gave them an excuse. But let's think about it. They went over to Africa. They had a religion. In their eyes and their religion and so forth told them that Africans were inferior. That they made good slaves because white people didn't really feel like building a nation. I don't think that they never really felt like building a nation just themselves until after they got some free labor for other people. But that's another topic. Well, how can I put this? While it's not good that the white dude got his ass beat, it's like, hey, black people, oh shit, got balls now, you know, to do something to somebody other than themselves. Well, in the context of them having balls to do something to somebody else wasn't the best at all. Nonetheless, they grew some balls. And like I was saying before, not to lose track, we've been getting hung, stung, shot, murdered, oppressed, redlined, dehumanized, animalized, brutalized, and every other, you know, negative thing you can actually think of for less than nothing. And look at what happened to Emmett Till. You know, even if he did supposedly whistle at a white girl, you know, he still was killed for nothing. And history has shown time and time again, these people don't really need that much of an excuse, you know, other than their own created ones to kill us off. No, just dealt with that. Talk about Africa. I don't know if you really talk to people from there, or if you went there and had a bad experience, or you just going with the, you know, the notion of, oh, well, they don't want us over there and da da da, and probably came across some Africans over here that kind of felt negative about blacks here. But if you take time and really do, you know, your research, your study, and try to contact people, get in contact with people from the continent, you'll find that they also have media over there too. And they don't control the media over there either. It's still a colonial regime. So, any images they get about us come from you know who over there. So, if you do make an African on the street and you wonder why, hey, you know, why do you hate me? Ask him, before you even say anything else, do you have TV in your country? He'll say yes. Or if he doesn't say yes, you got a newspaper? You come in contact with white people? Have they talked about blacks here? He says yes to that. Was there anything too positive? Did it just show us, you know, with nothing but big chains on, acting like idiots. You know what we call over here coons and buffoons. He says, yeah. Then you gotta think about it. Take your time to look at Black American history. We have been conditioned to hate ourselves. So thus, it would only make sense that an African, not knowing, ignorant of whatever, taking in the media by you know who, but, well, hate his brothers that's in another country, and his sisters too, right? And also, there's a series, you know, you can type in Google just to make sure you got it right for YouTube, called Blacks Going Back to Africa Making Millions. You know, I think one of the first videos the lady describes of she's getting off the plane and feels like she's at home. She doesn't have to apologize for being black. Nobody, you know, antagonizes her for being black. She feels at home. Then, you know, you have another video of Ghana Tours investing in Africa, which is kind of a small thing to do considering the economic boom they're having right now, even if it's led by the Chinese, and we can't really trust the Chinese with their motivations, right? Like, they come in with a smiling face, but smiling faces, you know the song. You know, they smile in your face all the time, they want to take your place. But yeah. So, you know, well, yeah, we all don't need to go back to Africa. We all really don't, because they don't need the trouble and the baggage that we have over here that we didn't really deal with ourselves. It's not a bad idea going, you know, even for a little visit, you know, a day, overnight, a week. You know, go to places like Ghana. Yes, Africa is war torn and things aren't too great around the whole continent, but you gotta think that's a big place. It's not the United States. It's not Canada. I think you can fit United States in Africa in reality, but please don't dismiss all of Africa and the Africans. Cousins are very, very close cousins and brothers and sisters and mothers and grandmothers, because you come across a negative few, just like you don't dismiss all white people, you know, as them not liking you. So what? Like you said, two wrongs don't make a right. Also, but before I get off that point, I'm not saying everybody needs to go back, and we all need to go back. They don't need a baggage. Now, it is kind of retarded touching on the point that people would attack you for, you know, agreeing with the white chick, for her saying how things really are. But you already know that's the trolls. Trolls will be trolls, or if they're not a troll, they may have some really bad misunderstandings. Hey, what are you gonna do, right? Can't please everybody and move on. But hey, you know, so again, this is Blackatchaproduction. You on my show a couple times. You know, you a great guest. You might remember J Dill, Black Aristotle. You know him. I think you guys communicate on the phone, if I'm not mistaken, or, you know, through YouTube messages. I'm the co-host. He's my orator. I'm the thinker and basically the brains behind the show. And he just finishes it off with the power he has, which is great. Like I said before, my orating skills aren't the best. I try my ass off sometimes, but hey. But yeah, man, I just want to, you know, touch on that. Again, two wrongs don't make a right. Please don't dismiss all of Africa, especially, you know, if you ever thought about any economics. It'll be from the ground up, but hey, you won't have to apologize for being black, and I don't think too many of them would, you know, consider just not having you rise because you're black. You know, go to places like Ghana and Lagos, maybe some parts of Nigeria, because I think Nigeria kind of experienced little bad times over there themselves. But, you know, shit, if the Chinese can go over and invest, why can't you go invest and make a future for yourself, and, you know, help those who want to help themselves along the way? by giving them another path other than staying here and suffering like hell, and having children to stay here and suffer like hell. But keep up the good work. I appreciate, you know, the strength that you bring and the message that you bring. You honest. You can see it in your video. You honest like a motherfucker. I think maybe if you ever told a lie and it wasn't for any, you know, kind of reason what you had to lie, your face would probably explode. That's how honest you at least come across to me. And that's what counts. We need honesty. You don't need no more people to sugarcoat anything. And also, should we really care what white people think about us? Or anybody else? Hey, you said it yourself that we have no friends. We need each other. So, even if this, you know, case of a nigga moment being projected on a white person may have some more white people hate us, hey, they hate us for a lot less. Basically nothing a lot of the time. Alright? Until next time, man. Be safe out there.